Hi guys, welcome to today's video. Today we are doing a special kind of watercolor rendition of the New York Sheep and Wool Festival, or as knitters usually call it, Rhinebeck. So this is an annual event. It was on last weekend and it's like a weekend event. So we just drove up for kind of half the day on Saturday. And yeah, it's in upstate New York. It's really lovely. The autumn colors are everywhere, so the air is just suffused with sunshine and crimson, saffron. It's really beautiful. So I had some footage of that. I wasn't actually planning to do this video, but I have lost the video for this week, so we'll talk about that later. But yeah, so let's just get into today's video. Okay, so I bought this bag, and I luckily I did, because the vendors don't give you bags with the wool, so you actually have to have something to carry it in. But so it ended up sort of being just for that. But I took just a couple of art supplies. I wasn't sure. So normally lately I've just been taking my moleskin and just the pencil box that I'm going to show you, but I took a few extra things, just thinking maybe, you know, we might have a chance and I could do a few things, which I didn't use these, but I'll show you them anyway, and you can kind of see like how I pack light. So those are a couple of brush fountain pens, and then an eraser. This is a little whiskey painter's, it's like a water vial. It's a beautiful little thing, but it really doesn't hold much water. And then my watercolors were just this gouache swatch card from Beam Paints. So that's all I took in the way of watercolor, and I was hoping to kind of condense that. I'll show you in a minute. And then I took this pencil box, which I've just been taking everywhere. So it has an array of pencils and sort of pastel pencils, lead pencils, and then it's also got this brush. It's also got like a travel brush in it as well. So I was thinking that maybe I could use this brush with the hold on. Okay, where were we? So yeah, so I was sort of hoping to maybe use this, just a small A6 notebook. This is the Hahnemuller Nostalgie, and then maybe just either one of these fountain brush pens. So the nice thing about these is they have like more of a real hair tip. So I'm not that fond of water brushes, because I just don't like painting with the really nylon tips. yeah, so, but you can see, like, even though that's just a few things, when it's spread out, it is still quite a lot. But then when you're holding this little sketchbook and it's got the travel card on there and the little water thing, that does kind of make it quite a nice little kind of thing to hold, so you don't have too much going on there. But yeah, so anyway, that's what I took, and then I was thinking that maybe, you know, on the drive or there, maybe when we were having some lunch or something, but it was just quite busy there. There were 30,000 people, I think, there over the weekend. So, and Saturday's the busiest day, so we were there like in the afternoon for a few hours. And I really don't show like in the actual wool stalls because it was so crammed. But this bridge, this is the Rhinecliff Bridge, and it's absolutely beautiful. So this is a really, really tall bridge. You can't really kind of get the feeling for it in the video, but if you have any info about this bridge or you've been across it, let us know in the comments, because it really is kind of quite a magical experience. Like, it's quite tall for a bridge. So there are quite a lot of vlogs around there at the minute on YouTube about Rhinebeck. So if you type in Rhinebeck 2022, quite a few things will come up. I've really enjoyed, I found out about this a few years ago watching the Tell Me About Your Rhinebeck Sweater, and like a lot of knitters like to knit a jumper specifically for this event. So you can see like all the cars here. Actually, it was lucky because when we got there, there was a park, so just right up near the back gate, which was really nice, and the trees were absolutely beautiful. So but I think this shows like a very serene place, but it was very crowded, but it was just really lovely. You can see here, like we walked over this hill and we were just shocked with, you know, how many people were there. This was the only shot of actual wool that I took. I was actually filming this tree and 5 ladies asked me to take their photo for them. So one of the things about the knitting community is everyone that I talked to was so friendly. This was a really lovely pond here as well, but yeah, so if you've never been like to your local knitting shop, I would highly recommend it. They have knit-alongs, they will have classes. The shop that we've been going to over the summer is right actually on the Hudson, kind of near, more sort of near where we are, but Knitting Nation. So she owns the Jade Sapphire yarn, which is gorgeous, but if you're in the tri-state, I would recommend her shop. It's really lovely. Every time we've been in, they've been so friendly and helpful, and my sister was worried because she crochets and she wasn't sure, you know, because it was called knitting. So yeah, they were actually doing a crochet along. So yeah, I would highly recommend just going into your local knitting shop. They also have these festivals up and down the coast. So the next one is in Maryland, I think in May next year, and it's the 50th, I think. So it's going to be an extra special one. So I know in Australia they have these, in Europe and the UK they have them. So there should be one, hopefully somewhat accessible. I think it took us almost 2 hours to drive to this one. And if you want more info about this, I'm going to link a couple of videos that I just found. So she has a knitting podcast, and she did videos of this event and then of the Friday one, which is in the similar area, but it's the Woolen Folk and on the Hudson Brickyards, which looked really lovely as well. So her channel is Nitty Natty, and then I think the Knitters League also went there. So yeah, another knitting vlog that I've been watching, knitting podcast, is Knitting in Mauritius as well. She has really beautiful colours, so for my knitters out there. But yeah, so we're going to get into a little bit of the watercolour now. Okay, so there were 4 kind of memories that I wanted to paint, and I am doing the video kind of in chronological order of how the day went, but I painted them out of order, so you'll kind of see some things are painted and others are not, and then we'll get to those later in the video. But the first kind of thing that I wanted to paint that was kind of the day, so was after we had been into the yarn kind of sheds, there's like sheds set up with yarn vendors, and then after we had been in there we went into the sheep and animal barns, and they were so lovely. So we spent quite a bit of time in there talking to the sheep owners about different breeds and possibly getting some sheep one day, so it was just really lovely. And yeah, so the first kind of thing that I kind of drew was just the memory of walking through and all the different stalls and the different types of sheep. So you had the grey Cormeau ones with the beautiful curly hair, and then there was a beautiful goat, and yeah, just different really lovely animals. I really liked the mini kind of Shetland. They're called Shetlands, they're not called minis, but they are kind of mini sheep. And yeah, so there was a little goat that was poking its head underneath the its own stall and like eating from the next door neighbour's stall, even though it was the same hay. But yeah, it was really cute. So I just kind of wanted to get the feeling down there of the different stalls with the different kind of animals, and I just put a few of them all in this little sketch. And this was, I think, so last night, this was the second last thing that I finished, and it was getting really late. I think it was about 2:30 or 3 when I finished this, so I just left it here, and then I finished off the wood and kind of the second glazing this morning just very quickly. So these didn't take too long because I actually so I was planning to do a haul video for this week, and I had been filming it for the last month. This guy actually was really handsome, and he looked like off the Emperor's New Groove, yeah. But so the little goat there. But what was I saying? Yeah, that's right. So I lost my haul video. I accidentally deleted it. So I have no storage. So I kept trying to. And I film on one device, and then I film on like my phone, and then I edit on the iPad. So I had sent everything to the iPad, and then I had done this video. It had taken me a month to film all different little bits and pieces, and normally like 1 minute of footage takes about 4 minutes to work on, but the haul videos sometimes take double that. And this one, like, I'd been working quite hard on. I've also got footage just from randomly over the last year as things had been coming in, and I had this whole 40-minute video filmed, and then I was deleting the little kind of filmings to make space, and somehow that randomly got selected, and so it's gone, and so I was devastated. So I have been trying to get it back. So if any of you have any ideas on how I could maybe do that. This little goat was so cute. But yeah, so anyway, that's just where we're at. So I quickly decided to do this one at the last minute. I was just going to kind of put the footage at the end of one of the videos, but I realized I had 11 minutes worth of footage from the day, so I thought I could just sketch a few of the different things. So this is the second thing that we're going to sketch, this little goat, and it's kind of, I actually just put it in a little emblem, and I painted. So on the way up, it was really nice just looking at the scenery and the leaves, and yeah, there was like these beautiful sort of, at times along the way there were like these cliff faces, and then there would be these red leaves and like little red branches and little trees that would come out of this cliff face, and it was so beautiful. So I wanted to kind of paint that, and then I thought that the whole page just being this kind of rock cliff face would be a little bit much, so I put this little emblem in and added the little sheep. So anyway, as you can see, like I just put the water on my watercolors to re-wet them and to start to activate them while I'm thinking about what I'm painting, because this was the first painting that I did. And then you can see there that I'm using red and like a Quin Rose. So this is actually Daniel Smith Quin Rose and, or no, it might be, this is Daniel Smith Rhodonite and Daniel Smith Mayan Red mixed together. And then I'm adding my red. So this one is, so they're pigments, they're not really commercially available, but it's something like maybe Daniel Smith Hibiscus mixed with like a Pyrrole Red. This one here is Davies Grey, so I'm just doing what we did in the grisaille video, and I'm going through and I am kind of filling in the crevices in the rock. So I'm kind of doing an underpainting of where the shadows and the crevices in the rock are. And if you saw in that video, I really like the way this grey-green colour gives the light. I really like the way that it creates the tone in the piece. So yeah, then I'm just going through and painting around the emblem, and I do have a couple of videos about creating these types of things. And so I'm just adding, I'm not sure which brown I have there, but I'm just adding one of those and then adding a little bit of the bronze to create a little bit of shimmer there. And then this is, I'm using Daniel Smith Black Tourmaline and Daniel Smith Hematite. You can see the Hematite's the really granulating one, but those two together are creating a really nice texture and perfect for the kind of the fur. So you can see here that after I've kind of done the underlayer, I'm going back in with a smaller brush and I'm dry brushing on the next layer of colour to kind of create that effect of the wool. And here I'm also using, you can see that that was the Daniel Smith French Ochre, and I'm mixing it in with a little bit of those reds. Kind of creates a beautiful warm caramel colour, which was exactly kind of the light that we had all day. It was kind of like this honeyed, just amber, really beautiful colouring. Okay, so for the actual cliff face, like these rocks, I'm using Daniel Smith Hematite with the Daniel Smith Van Dyck Brown and the black again. So it could be, you know, a sepia tone that you have, like a dark brown with a granulating black, so maybe like a Mars black or something like that, and just different variations of those two colors, and then also adding in some other browns. So every now and then I'll add in a little bit of either maybe one of the reds or a little bit of a lighter brown or the French ochre, and then once that had dried, I just went back over that with a smaller brush as well. So yeah, just a sweet little sketch and kind of a memory of that day. And I get a lot of questions about this. What if I'm not sure what to paint? I would suggest painting something that interested you in that day, something that piqued your interest. Is it a flower box that you walked past? Was it a flower that you saw at the supermarket? Was it some new herbs that you got, or some that you grew, or you know, a letter in your mailbox, or something on your desk, something in your kitchen, maybe one of your favorite items, or just something that you're interested to learn how to draw. Maybe something that you're worried you aren't, you know, don't have enough technique or skill for yet. I would suggest just starting, and with the understanding, like, give yourself some grace that this does not have to be the best one that you ever draw or paint, but you are going to start, and you're going to start with baby steps and start learning it. And, you know, maybe you can do a 2-week challenge for yourself, or a 30-day challenge over the month, or something like that. So, or maybe once a week, you know, you will practice that thing. So that's just a small suggestion for that. I am going to work on a whole video for that, but yeah, so this was actually the last thing that I sketched. So I didn't really film a lot of the process. It was, by that time, it was, I think, after 3, and I was just pretty tired. So yeah, it's just the feeling of, like, going through the forest and kind of these these leaves kind of peeking through, and the different overlapping of branches and colours, and just that absolute beauty. So there's one last memory that I wanted to capture, and as we were driving home, so the evening, like the sunset started to happen, and it was really, really beautiful. And then I didn't actually capture it, but this little cloud here turned, so as I caught a glimpse of it as we were further down the freeway, and it had turned, the sky was kind of a taupe color, and then the cloud had a really pink like halo, like a silver lining, but it was pink around it. So it was so beautiful, and yeah, I kind of wanted to just capture that and I was thinking about it, so I ended up painting that here. So this was such a fun thing to paint, and actually this is the second iteration of this cloud that I have created. So if I can figure out how to recover the lost video, there is one in there about this cloud, but I'm using pastels, and I still have like half of the footage for the film, that video. So if I need to redo it, I can. You know, I have some base to start with, but some of it, you know, I have lost. So hopefully I can figure that out. But yeah, so this is what I was saying, was this is the second time I have kind of thought about and worked through this cloud, and honestly I could do it about 20 more times at least. So that's the kind of thing that if something like inspired you, you know, you could do a 10-day challenge, you know, a 30-day challenge, and just kind of think about how you could differently create that that item or that thing the next time you paint it, or maybe in a different medium. So here I am just kind of using watercolors, and I'm really just experimenting. So, you know, this is not to win any cloud awards, but this was just such a fun thing to paint. So I and what I really did enjoy was this color palette. So, you know, next time I paint it, probably wouldn't use these colors, but I did really like using this color palette and finding it. So I'll go through and kind of tell you what it is. And then I'm also, for the sky, I'm using really watered out Daniel Smith Sedona and the Holbein Shell Pink. You can see also that I am lifting colour here, so around the cloud where I want that to stay a little bit more glowing, I have put colour on, and then I'm just wetting my brush, drying that off, and then lifting the colour out and drying my brush again. So this one here is a neon pink. This is by Nibs. This one here is that was called Azalea. This one here is by Isero, and this is called Powdery Pink. And then this one here is also by Isero. This is Pearly Rose Light. So beautiful. I love her. I love all of these colours and their watercolours. This one here is also Isero, so 3 by Isero. This is the Buff Titanium. And then this one here is one of my colours, and this is like a jade with pearl white mica. So this is not like commercially available, but you can use this next one. So I'll use the Davies Grey by Winsor & Newton, and you can mix that with like the Daniel Smith Pearl White to get a similar effect. Okay guys, so that is pretty much everything. I do show a couple of clips of our haul from Rhinebeck, so yeah, I just kind of, I will list the vendors below, like anything. I'm not sure exactly of everything of the colorways and things, but yeah. So what else did I want to say? The haul video will hopefully be out next video. So I kind of I've been wanting to kind of change the 2 weeks, but I don't know, we'll see. Next week what I might do, so this was my sister's haul and the minis were really beautiful. This alpaca is so soft, this yeah, really lovely. And again, like I'll put the the things down below, but what was I saying? So I have been working on a couple of things. One of those is the landscape class. So I started this thing last year in the last week of May. I filmed the first 2 things for it, and so I've been getting requests for landscape and portraits and architecture. So the portraits will work on next year hopefully, and the architecture, like specifically New York, but yes, so this class has been like, it's just a few things to finish up, but I'm just finding it really difficult to do that. So next week, if I do have the last painting, I've added kind of this last painting, and it's coming out really beautifully, so I might give you a sneak peek of that. Otherwise, I will see you guys in 2 Saturdays. Have a lovely couple of weeks. I'll see you then. Bye.